want to give you all an opportunity, if you want to reflect on, and then there's no pressure, nobody's obligated to come up here and have a word, but if you'd like to, the podium is open. Make some brief comments about what you experienced this summer.
Hello everybody, I'm Devontae, and I've been here with this program for, I think it was, this year, I think it was 3 or 4 years. And ever since I started, the experience has been great, and I've learned new stuff every time. I learned culture and handyman work. Handyman work came in good, I'm telling y'all now, handyman work came in great. It's a great experience meeting new people, especially after quarantine, because after quarantine, you forget social skills. And when I came here, I barely had any social skills. So when I got out here, it gave me a chance to redeem myself and my social skills. But it was great, meeting new people, having fun, learning. Thank you.
All right.
Hello everybody, my name is Nakaya. I've been a part of the Alkebu Lan Village for a good 3 years. The whole organization. This is my first year doing the summer program. For my reflection, I want to say I had a lot of fun. I'm going to piggyback off what Devontae said during COVID. It was hard for me I lost a lot of my social skills. So this was a good program for me to come speak with peers and have a good connection with people. I learned a lot of stuff, construction work, culture. I learned much about my history. It was an amazing opportunity to be part of this program. It was very fun. I met a lot of people that I didn't know before. It was nice meeting y'all. I will miss y'all. I'll be back next year. All right.
What's going on, y'all? I'm Bakari. This is my first summer being a part of the summer program. I used to go to the village a long time ago. But I really did have a lot of fun this summer, just seeing a lot of people that I used to see and seeing a lot of new people too. And just some of my favorite moments was Mama Myrtle helping her out after the flood. And then just like the little times we had together, because we watched, I think it was the second day or the first day we watched The Hate U Give, which if you haven't seen that movie, it's a pretty good movie. And just reflecting amongst each other and, you know, just having a good time about it and all that. So I really appreciate the summer program.
I'm Baba Z. I'm one of the instructors of the summer program, and I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank all of the youth that participated in the program. You guys, every time I come to the village, my sense of security as far as the future is concerned is just reassured. You guys are some dynamic, intelligent, well thought out, thoughtful, articulate young men and ladies. And I'm honored always to be alongside of you guys and to instruct you and to help guide you, but you also teach me as well. This summer program has been, you know, a great experience, and I think that one of the things that makes it so great is the diversity. Every day there was something different, and whether we were taking, you know, houses apart and cleaning them up, or whether we were learning about solar energy and technology, or learning about some new food that you may or may not, you know, have enjoyed, whatever the case may be, it was a holistic experience that I think everybody learned something from. So, you know, great experience for me. It was an honor to get to know some of you guys and to be reacquainted with others of you. And I'm just excited for the future.
Rise and shine, and I'm thankful for these hands and these eyes of mine to see my way through the struggle, working overtime, overgrind. I'm in the substance overshine, taking it step by step. One day get the time, moving in line with my long range plan design. With my under mistakes in this past of mine, I'm trying to build a little better, make it last this time. Look in the eyes of the babies, I see rebirth, no telling lies to the babies. Keep me
Alkebu Lan Village Building Positive Leaders Program 2021 is a 7-week work experience funded by the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, aimed at exposing youth ages 14 to 24 to urban agriculture, property preservation, mental health awareness, Detroit Black history, renewable energy, and community service. Community partners this year included Indigo Transitions, Freedom Growers, Georgia Street Community Collective, Mama Akua House, Rosado and Smith, Capstone Renovations, Root to Bloom, Black Scroll History Network and Tours, and Family First Solar. For the first time in the program's history, a youth leader, Deontay Williams, who has participated for the past 5 years, was elevated to the level of youth leader. Adult leaders included Germany Brown, Sherry Smith, and Azizi Jasper.
Move that, back and forth. And I got some KLCs, turn it upside down, baby. Yeah, that's the right way. Yep, and if I were you, I would start at the front of it. Just keep going. Yep, that's it. And I'll get somebody with a rake while I go check on Monique. Yep, do this whole area like that.
I'm not 100% sure. We're going to double check with her.
Close as you can, because we want to save much of this root ball. We want to save, yep, okay. Now we're going to take it. Okay. Hold it. Put that flower there. Put this here. Let's see if we got enough room. Yes, right in that hole. We don't know what that is. That hole ain't big enough.
This was an old store when I was a kid growing up, and the house behind it, the people that owned the store lived there, and it was abandoned. A lot of people in the neighborhood thought it was going to be torn down. I was in the garden. I said a prayer, like I need this space. I would love to turn it into a community center. 2 weeks later, a lawyer came walking through the neighborhood with a flyer saying that it was in probate, and they was trying to give it to somebody in the neighborhood before they tried to put it on the market. And we told the judge what we wanted to do, and they gave it to us.
Yeah.
That's why I got the rap music playing. You can't hurt your Listen, look at all the rest of them. The feathers ain't even right. You know, that one fell on hard times. He didn't get no seed. They like, you wait till late.
That's what she's talking about.
That one just ain't got as much.
That's all. I don't want to. He said you can paddle.
American guinea hog and one German guinea hog. I can't tell who that is.
Hello everyone. What we're doing right now is we're We are harvesting some Swiss chard that we grew here at Alkebu Lan village. That we grew here.
Yes, sir.
At Alkebu Lan village.
Yes, sir.
Shut up. We didn't. Well, not yes, I wasn't here when they had planted the seeds and stuff, but obviously they did a good job, a great job actually, at keeping this maintained and stuff, because there's not a lot of dead leaves or anything. It's mainly green. It's mainly edible. That's edible right there. You can take that home, go fix you up a good meal, you know what I'm saying?
Comerica Park, because Comerica paid for their name to be there. You got the TCF Center, because, Ford Field. So if you pay for your name to be there, then that's how your name get there. Well, that happened in 1701 when Pontchartrain funded Cadillac's voyage. And so they're building this fur trading fort, and it's down next to the river. They're trading among each other, the French themselves, but they're also trading with the indigenous people, and they're Snapback. So this fur trading turns this area into what was hunting, fishing, and trade between the Native Americans. It turns into fur trading, becomes the center of what is Detroit now. And that becomes the economic foundation. But even though the French are here for fur trading in 1700s, they're knee deep in another trade, the slave trade. Point in time, I want to introduce to you all your keynote speaker for the day. And I know I said we were going to do certificates and recognition first, but we're going to reorder that. We'll do that last. I think that's more in order, having a keynote speaker first, and then we'll bring you all up to receive individual certificates. But I'd like to just give a short background, and I don't have a prepared bio or anything,
but just from the things that I've been able to learn about this dynamic sister. Her name is Tiffany Barber. She is an entrepreneur. She is someone who is not afraid to reinvent. She started out on Joy Road. Y'all know that song, that street, if you don't live on the west side, from T Grizzly making it famous in his song First Day Out. But Joy Road is also where my mother made her home after we became adults. So I spent 20 years or so on Joy Road in my adult life. But it's a tough community. You know, real problems that happen in the black community happen on Joy Road. And so T Barb was a product of that environment. From that, she sought to achieve things, goals that she had set for herself. She went out to become a CPS worker. Anybody know what that is? Absolutely. And so she was what they call the people. I'm gonna call the people on you. But she went into that because she had an understanding of what's going on in that environment. And then she, in a Barry Sanders kind of cut move, stopped doing that and pursued her passion to be a comedian. And so now she is a on the national level, and I can say on the international level, because T Barb is still on comedy shows in Canada. So, but anyway, she is now an international entertainer and just a dynamic sister who has a lot of passion for the community and young people. And she wants to bring a message to you all today. So I want you to open up your ears and your minds and your heart and receive my sister T Barb.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. First, what do you guys start when you say jumbo, right? Was that it, jumbo? Jumbo. Thank you so much for that. As he said, first off, give it up for yourselves, because it takes a lot. Especially in today's world and with all of the challenges that you guys face. As he was just saying, the gracious introduction, I appreciate that. My name is Tiffany Barber. A lot of people call me T Barb because I am a comedian, but just a little more background on myself. I was born and raised on Joy Road. My parents met fresh out of prison. So my mother had just did 10 years for armed robbery. My father had just did 8 years for attempted murder on a police officer on top of that. So on top of that, I know that this program dealt with a lot of mental illness. My mother was also a manic depressive, and that happened as a result of the way that she was raised. She was raised in the foster care system. This was back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So my grandmother was put in a mental health institution when my mother was 2 years old. I have never seen my grandmother outside of that mental health institution. My grandmother on my father's side was also incarcerated, so I would have been the third generation of incarceration, essentially, between hospitalizations and not. And my mother, she was raised in a very abusive foster home where she was molested, she was abused, and ultimately ended up with a boyfriend at 17, got pregnant, and was forced to marry him as well, which led her down a path of crime and mental illness. So it's so many different levels that I understand being raised on that. On top of that, my parents were both heroin addicts. So I was raised by a mother who was mentally ill, parents fresh out of prison, and also engulfed in a world full of addiction, drug addiction. So I know a lot of people, we all have different backgrounds, and a lot of times we feel like we can't overcome those backgrounds, but we can. So that's one of the platforms of my story. I started smoking when I was 11 years old. I started smoking weed and cigarettes when I was 11. By the time I was 13, I was smoking and drinking every single day. My first time I was in a bar, I was 12 years old. So I hung out, I was in gangs, I did a lot of different things. I barely made it out of high school, but to be honest, it was a program such as this one which helped change my path. I went to a program called Horizons Upward Bound at Cranbrook. And even though during the week we were selling drugs and rapping and hanging out, during the weekend I would go to this program, and it would kind of cultivate my thoughts and let me know that there was more than just the environment I had been raised in. In addition, because I know a lot of you all at home different people have different issues in their home life. So in addition to all that growing up, my father also lost his kidneys when I was 9 years old. So I watched my father get both of his legs cut off, amputated, as well as lose his kidneys. And I went through 2 kidney transplants with him as well. So it's not too many different levels that, not to say that I'm completely understanding of, but that I don't understand, because I've really been through it all. And I know what it's like to go through those things and to try and overcome. So throughout my life, it has been very difficult. But one thing about it is I believe that you can always turn tragedy into triumph. So I wrote a book, we'll get off into my life now, called Faith Over Fear, Tales of a Retired Hood Rat, because I was a hood rat, right? I'm retired now. Y'all give it up for that, because sometimes you got to retire. I call it relapse is a part of recovery. And people always ask me why I use that moniker. People who know me now who may not know my story ask me why I use that moniker, because I want to embody everything that I've been through. And I know a lot of times, especially in today's age of social media, what you see is the end results. Y'all see Bentleys and helicopters. A lot of the stuff is not real, but even when you see that, there's not too many people that want to share the struggle, because all you see is the results. It looked like nobody went through anything. Nobody had any problems at home. All of a sudden they just rich and famous, and that's not really the way it works. Even the most successful person has had their own triumphs, tragedy at home, whether it's as deep as mine or not. But even when I was in high school, like I said, I went to a program like this, which kept me on the straight and narrow and told me that it was going to be more to life than just addiction, more to life than just doing drugs. Especially now, because I know that drug use is so popular, and a lot of times when you're dealing with peer pressure, it's probably hard to ignore that. But I've been there, done that. And that even when you make a mistake, it doesn't mean that you can't change and elevate. Or sometimes you can just bypass that with the mistakes of others. So what I decided to do was, no matter how many fights I've had when I was in high school, I'm surprised they let me stay. I had so many fights. I smoked in front of the flagpole. I was cussing. I probably was hanging out with the teacher at the bar, see her late at night or something. But I decided one day something clicked. So in my neighborhood, I had a lot of beefs. I told you I was in a gang. And it got to the point where no matter where I went, I would have to fight. So if I was at the gas station and a certain group saw me, I had to fight. They tried to fight me in my prom dress. I've been jumped a million times. A switch clicked and said, do I really want my life to be like this forever? Or do I want more for my life? And sometimes when you're not able to see that, that's why you have to embody these type of programs. Because this is giving you exposure that maybe you may not be able to see, which will show you that it's more than what your world encompasses. All we see is what we see every day, right? Walking down the street, we see this, but it's so much more. The world is such a big place, and you can really impact in so many different ways. So I decided I was gonna go to college. Nobody believed that. Like, how you gonna go to college? You got a 1.7 GPA. You fighting every day. But I still went to school. I went to the program. I had 26 on the ACT. I had one school that accepted me. My parents were not in a condition to go to school with me. My father had just had his heart busted open. He was up sick. My mother was going through a manic stage where she had went to our local grocery store, bust the window out with a brick, and just was known for being talking to her. I mean, it was just a bad time in my life, but I decided no matter how bad that time was, that I could do better. I went to college. I went to a historically black college and university. Anybody know about those? Thank you. And I'm going to tell you the difference. And the reason I'm telling this story is not to say college is not for everyone, especially when you learn the trade, and especially in today's world. We'll get off into that in a minute. But sometimes God will send you signs or give you paths or give you a rite of passage as a way for you to transition, and that was that for me. I got accepted into a school called Dillard University in New Orleans, Louisiana. I had never ever in my life been to New Orleans, and nobody was gonna go with me. And I decided I still was gonna go. I had $400, a suitcase, and a boombox, and a bus ticket. Somebody drove me to Memphis, and I caught the bus from Memphis to New Orleans by myself. I was the only person still smoking cigarettes, still doing all those things. but God took me there for a reason. I ended up graduating in 4 years with my Bachelor of Art in Sociology and Criminal Justice, all on my own. So, thank you. So a lot of times you'll think I'm on my own, I can't do it. But what you have to do is dig deep and understand that your want for more has to outweigh what everybody else was saying. Because remember, I'm still dealing with my friends back home. They don't really want that for me. They don't understand. Most of my friends dropped out in middle school, not even high school. They were 7th and 8th grade dropouts. So this is who I'm hanging around. This is who I see every day. But when I got to college, I saw something different. I was immersed in a world of black excellence like I've never seen before. For me, you know, I had friends whose parents were doctors, whose parents were lawyers, a black world that they don't always show us. That's why this village is so important, because when you look at the news and you look at media, what do you see? You tell me what you see when you look at the news every day. Murder. What you see? You watch the news? Okay. When you watch it, what you see? Murder. When you watch the news, what do you see? Same thing. But you don't ever see black unity. You don't ever see what y'all doing in the back. Property restoration. They don't show you that, because the media's job is to entertain. And what's more entertaining than black degradation to a country? So that's why it's important for your mindset to go outside of what people want to show you and see what it is. Because it's a lot of black greatness, and I wasn't privy to that. See, we talking about, I'm an auntie. That's what y'all call us older little ladies. I'm a little auntie. So that means that I didn't have social media or some of the other outlets that you have now. I couldn't just go, we had encyclopedias, like it was real. Wasn't no going on the computer and Googling that. You had to go to section H on page 122. You really had to read. So we was on typewriters and all that kind of stuff. So you had to go outside of the box to really see that. So when I got to Dillon University, I saw that. And you know what it said to me? I don't want murder. I don't want drug dealing. And that's not all that's in my community. But if they continue to pump that to you and show that to you, that's what you'll think you are. Trust me, what you see makes such a big difference in your life. You're not gonna think that on a day-to-day basis, but I want y'all to start being conscious of what you put into your mind, what you put into your body, what you put into your heart, as far as what you see and what your vision is for you. Because whatever, I don't care what it is, whatever you can envision for yourself is what you can have. It don't matter what other people say, because that's their limitations, because they don't have your vision. And it's gonna be people throughout your life that's gonna tell you, no, you can't do that. You can't have the biggest construction company. No, you can't start your own business. You can't be a millionaire, but you can. You can. And that's the reason why I speak, because I want to be a testament that you can, even with my background. So after I graduated from college, I decided to be a foster care worker and a protective services worker. And I know a lot of families have had a lot of interactions with Children's Protective Services, okay? So as ghetto as I was and what I was known for in my neighborhood, I then became a professional with the state of Michigan, state car, state phone. All the respect in the world, Ms. Barber. I wore professional clothes like this to work every day. I won the Governor's Service Award. I've been employed of the month multiple times. And on top of that, I've saved hundreds of families for going into foster care. So it's a lot of times, like they say, they look at the people. But when I came to the door, I had a different perspective, because some people had textbook knowledge, but I had real knowledge. And I had to understand, as difficult as my life was, would I have been better if I would have been in the system? Would I have made what I was today? So I always champion people, no matter what you do, to go out and make sure that what you're doing means something to you, okay? Because you never know the karma that you'll get back from helping other people. So I've seen the worst of the worst. I've helped so many kids not going to care. I've helped a lot of kids that wanted to care, because I saw what a bad experience did to my mother. And I didn't want any other kids to ever have to go through that experience of being abused, if I could help it. So I did that job for 10 years. I left, I did adult protective services, where I helped vulnerable adults throughout the community, as far as, because there's a lot of older adults who have nobody. So that's another thing. Make sure you're kind to people. Trust me, that kindness comes back. Everything that you do, you don't have to see a return from it right now. Trust me, this all builds character. Everything that you're doing right now is going to help you be successful. Okay? It's going to help you be successful. And you can be that. After all of that, so you would think, like, whoa, this girl went to college, like, this is it. And then on top of that, I went and got a master's in business administration from the University of Detroit Mercy with an international endorsement. So on top of that, I am an MBA. I've been to Spain, I've been to Rome, I've been all over the world. Just based on me meeting the right people and seeing the vision. There's no way, me growing up, I ever would have thought that I would have been at the Vatican. Looking at the part, I'm not Catholic, but I still was there. You know, and to travel the world and to be recognized as an MBA, which is a small club. I'm a black woman. I was in a room full of all white men. And I was just as worthy, if not better, than what they had to offer. I didn't have to leave with that MBA and go do what nobody told me to do. I used that for my own business because in addition to that, I had a hot dog cart that I bought that I've had for 16 years. We've been in downtown Detroit. Y'all see where y'all was at Campus Marches in the middle? My car used to be across the street for 14 years. Then it was outside of the city county building for 2 years. So I did that for 16 years. And on top of all that, I decided I didn't want to, I put in my work for social work, but I decided I wanted to pursue my dreams. And one day, I got invited to a comedy open mic. I started doing it, and I quit my job. And that's what I do right now, what I want to do. On top of being a comedian, I decided I wanted to be a serial entrepreneur. I didn't care that I was the first generation, because a lot of times that stops us because we don't have mothers or fathers or grandmothers. Some of us do, but a lot of us don't. They have been doing the things that you want to do, right? So you may have something in mind. You may go ask your grandma, your mama. They may say, that don't sound like a good idea to me. It's not that it's not a good idea. It's that they've never been exposed to that. They don't know nothing about that. So we have to set the path, and we have to start to be that, and then teach the next generation that, so they can understand it can be accomplished. So the minute I left my job, right? I left my job. I didn't know nothing about credit. I have amazing credit right now. I didn't know nothing about, the young lady said, the social skills. I have amazing social skills right now. I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. I work for myself. I make more money now than I ever did working for the state of Michigan. I had a business then. I have an Airbnb business. I have a housing business. I do general contracting, houses that I flip. I'm a landlord. I have 2 books that I self-publish myself. I'm gonna give all of y'all a copy of one of my books too. One is, I told you, The Faith Over Fear Tells a Retired Hood Rat, which is a motivational memoir, and I got a vegan cookbook, because I am a vegan now. Called The Hood Rat Kitchen. Yes. I'm still the same now. Don't get the accolades confused. You know, it's still in the heart. Trust me, that's what saved me. My past is what saved me. The Hood Rat Kitchen. I have a home health agency called Loving in Our Purpose with my partner. She's in the back there, Jackie. Where we help people who need assistance at home get checks from the state. I have a hot dog cart. I have a vegan chef business. I feel like I'm leaving. Oh yeah, I just produced my first TV special. So I have a special right now on Amazon Prime, a 30-minute comedy special called Getting Off that you can go watch. I am on Amazon Prime. I just produced season 2 of Getting Off, where I brought in 19 comedians, including Spanky Hayes from Wild 'N Out, and a lot of famous comedians here to Southfield, Michigan. I also did, I directed a comedy documentary. Now this is stuff that I'm doing that they tell me I'm not qualified to do. I'm not qualified to produce television. I just wrote my first script with another Hollywood writer that has been nominated for an Emmy, that worked on every major TV show that you could think of, that came to Detroit from Hollywood to come write with me. So these are things that they'll tell you, you're not qualified for that. You a girl from Joy Road, you a hood rat from Joy Road, you're not qualified to produce television. But I say yes, I am. You a hood rat from Joy Road, you're not qualified to travel the country. I just came back from New York, Godfrey. I don't know if y'all ever seen this show called The Last OG. All of the actors from that show, I did shows with all of them. I stayed in New York for a week. I'm going to Los Angeles next week. I am the headliner act for the Motor City Comedy Festival, which is an all-Caucasian comedy festival. And I'm headlining that. I am in this month's Our Detroit Magazine September issue, 2 pages. In the whole issue, full photo shoot and all that. So what they'll tell you is, not you, you're not qualified to do that. You're not qualified to be on TV. You're not qualified to produce television. You're not qualified to go to college. You're not qualified. Somebody like you is not supposed to have accolades. Somebody like you is not supposed to own businesses. But it's your job to tell them, yes, I'm qualified to do whatever I want to do. It's in me. I can do it. And don't ever, I mean this, because you're going to have days where it's not going to be easy. This not easy. So let me say that now. You will hear people say, well, it look easy. That's why I say social media makes stuff look easy. It make it look like, oh, they rich. Oh, they pop. No, it's not easy. Nobody's going to show you the struggle, the long nights, the crying, the broke nights. Well, you ain't have it. I was sleeping on the floor for a minute. I had to take some concessions. I couldn't let the outside world tell me that I was nothing because of what I was. I drove a 99 Range. I'm talking about ragged. I had 5 cars. All of them together made one. Because if I wanted headlights, I had to drive this one. If I wanted some heat, I had to drive that one. If I was going in the suburbs and I needed a real plate, I had to drive this one. So, you know, it was just one of them things, like, okay, if it's not that hot, I can dry this one because this one don't have air. And if I feel like talking to myself, I can dry this one because this one don't have a radio. So, for real. So these are things that I know y'all younger, so some of those, but those are things that you'll go through. I had to eat noodles. I had to do what I had to do to survive, but I believed in myself. Yeah.
I don't care if you're rich or broke, noodles will still be
a noodle slapping. You right. And guess what they call it when you rich? They call it pho. Listen here, I know noodles when I see noodles, but I go play to be $22. I'm like, these is noodles, these ramens, you know, give me some hot sauce. But just saying all that to say that in your journey, it won't always be easy. You'll have to make tough decisions. You'll have to surround yourself with the right people. I can't stress that enough. The wrong people and the wrong peers will change the trajectory of your life. And just even an example, as an adult, I wanted to try comedy. I was working. I was doing well in my job. I had a group around me, and this is as an adult. I'm in my 30s, telling me I wasn't that funny. I wasn't that funny. I'm goofy, but you ain't that funny. These my friends. I hang out with them every day. We go everywhere. These my friends. My same friends end up getting me in an altercation. Well, I might not even made it because deep down inside they really was jealous. And I want to leave out this because I want y'all to understand how important this is. Your mind and your thoughts are worth money. It is called intellectual property. When you think of an idea and it's an original idea, that's your property. You protect it. When you write a book, this is my intellectual property. Nobody can take this from me. These are my words. This is my book. This is my thought. When I get up on stage and I do comedy, that's my intellectual property. And I get paid more for my intellectual property than for most tangible meaning that you can touch, items that I'll sell ever. So always remember how important and how valuable your mind and your thoughts are. When you go over, like when they make the new phones, the people who got paid the most, not the people who putting the phone together. People who putting the phone together, they getting something decent. Who getting the money is the people who came up with the concept for why your phone do this. Like, you know that alert you hear on your phone? Do you know that that's from the casino? It's meant, no, seriously, it's about 9 engineers in Silicon Valley that makes the decisions for almost all y'all phones. It's meant to be addictive. So what they did was take some of the psychology that makes you addicted at the casino or makes people addicted to gambling, and they added it to your phone. So you can't stop looking at it. So that's what I mean by knowledge. Once again, I read a book called Culture's War. That's how I know about the news. I know that they report for every 1,200 black crimes, they report 100 white crimes. That's because they want you to look at the black man as a criminal. And if they keep putting it in your mind and showing you crime and then showing you somebody black doing it, you'll think that black people are the only people that commit crimes. But how? Even if we're disproportionate in the incarceration rate, how can we complete more crimes when we're 12% of the population? White people do it just as much as we do. Terrorists, right? We all know the number one terrorist is Caucasian men. But if I keep showing you somebody with a hijab and saying terror, 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 and showing you this culture over and over, what you gonna associate a terrorist with? Somebody who has this look. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. It's an illusion. And when it comes to semantics, that's just like, let's say with corona, right? We know it's real. But we know if I use the word rise, it's not as scary as the word spike. The word spike makes you fearful. That's the study of semantics. That means that they're going to use certain words to evoke certain emotions in you. They're going to say certain things to make you feel less than and not as worthy as. So just know that you are worthy. No matter what you want to do in your life, you can do it. And just make sure that you stay true to who you are and your dreams, and whatever your vision is, it can come to life. So thank y'all so much. I'm Tiffany Barber.
Wasn't that an incredible speech, y'all? Raise your hand if you got something out of that. All right, if you didn't, there's the door. No, I'm just kidding. But for real, she laid it out. She laid it out, and I hope that you absorbed what was put on the table, because that's some soul food right there that y'all just got. And speaking of soul food, we got some of that in the kitchen warming up right now. So, but this is the newest member of my family and of our village, y'all. I don't know if y'all know this guy, but this is Moyo Usiku. And Moyo Usiku means, Moyo means heart, and Usiku means nocturnal. So he named himself because he had a lot of heart, it took a lot of heart for him to get to the planet from his birthing situation. And Usiku means nocturnal because he was always up at night in mama's belly, and he still don't like sleeping at night. So he is who he is. This is Moyo Usiku. So y'all been seeing him around here, running around here. But at this point, I'd like to call up those who are here to receive a certificate of completion. So it's an important thing to finish what we start in life, right? And I think you heard from T Barb a couple of instances of her finishing what she started. And it's about that follow through is what gets you, you know what I'm saying, to a place of achievement. If you don't follow through, then you won't get, you know, what you set out for. So when I call your name, come and receive your certificate, and you know, keep this somewhere. Make a folder, make a binder. These certificates accumulate. You probably got 3 or 4 of these. If you anything like I was when I was your age, I just threw them anywhere. And then when I'm cleaning up my room or something, I see them all toe up under some stuff or whatever. But later in life, I learned to keep these. And so now I have a binder with over 100 certificates in it from various different things that I've done in my life. And when I show that to somebody for, you know, credential purposes, it's impressive. So, and it's also good for me to reflect, like, oh yeah, I forgot. Oh yeah, we did do that. So, all right. So when I call your name, Baba Z. Matter of fact, Baba Z is in the house. So I'm gonna let my good brother help me out on this part. When he call your name, come up and receive your certificate of completion for the summer program.
Timothy Cooper.
All right.
Thank you, good sir. Appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Devontae Cooper.
All right.
Keep up the good work, man.
My bad.
Nakaya Jones.
Thank you.
Miss Bakari, ladies. Oh yeah. Gregory McKenzie. Wow. Corey McKenzie.
Big G Mac.
Germany. Give it up for Germany Brown.
And then we want to make a special announcement. We had a 1-week participant who came through and hung out with us, worked with us, and added her input. We don't have a certificate for her, but we want to recognize her. So please stand up, Shayla Gardner Tyler. All right. At this point in time, before we get ready to get into this food, I want to bring up the founder of the Alkebu Lan village, the man who put it all together, the one in whose footsteps I follow, because this work is a work that we must continue. It is too important. As T Barb said, I too am a product of programs like this, and had it not been for programs like this, I may have found myself in some different outcomes. So I want to bring to you all Infidishi Marvis Cofield.
Jumbo, it's an honor and pleasure before I go any further, man. I have permission to speak for my elders. A co-elder, if you will. But in giving God the honor, as I tell my story, I have to say that first and foremost, without, giving God the glory as I tell the story. As I look around, looking at young people, this is a youth developer. This is a youth group. And Barbara Gregg and all the elders and all of those who made this happen, it's not a me, but it's a we. And I'm just excited, not trying to hide it, that for 43 years we've been standing on each other's shoulders, lifting each other's up, not pushing each other down. As T Barb said, each one teach one, each one reach one. So on behalf of the village, we thank you. And Barbara Gregg, I'll say again that the collaboration this summer and for the past 4 or 5 summers and just what you do, bringing people and things together, is an honor for us to walk together and walk with the understanding that each one teach one. Thank you very much. Let's eat meat and continue to greet. Thank you.